a lot of emotions, and a lot of ideas, and it's not focused and it's jumbled. And being here with you now, I'm like needing to put it in words, and that's a whole nother dimension. Um, and I don't. Mm. Can we make some categories? And let's me and you make some categories
Okay.
right now. In one way, I just want to be friends. I want to be like, yeah, I'll just put friends. It's just friends right now. Could be best friends, but yeah, I'll put that. Best friends. I want to relate to you as my best friend. And in there, it's just, I like you, and um, I want the best for you and you. I'm sorry. I think it'll help if we build these categories.
Sure.
How do you want to show up in the world with me?
I think that would be business.
In business? And what does that look like?
Well, so we combine our skill set to make videos to help other people attain their goals. That we figure out how to combine, and that's like the beginning of the shared knowledge community, where, just like you said, you want to help build the brand, you want to help to bring my work into the world. That's going to happen in the real business world.
I don't so much, I wouldn't say, there's a lot of presuppositions that come along with when you say, I want to help bring your work into the world. I do, but I think your work has when you say your work, it has a particular face to it. And I kind of want to give it more than a facelift, just a different approach. So I want to transform, I want your work to transform, to connect with people.
I agree. I mean, that's the kind of collaboration of going, whatever I've been doing, it's not working. It's not enough. I'm making mistakes, or I'm just, I'm good at doing certain things, but I'm not good at doing other things. And I would love your input or whatever it is.
Well, okay. What I admire most is that you're steadfast. You're always like, you're grounded in what you know, what you're bringing into the world, and you know it really well, and you're always consistent in the energy that you're putting out into the world. And what you're putting out into the world, some of the things I really connect with, and some of the things I'm like, that's not quite the vibration that I would choose. And then it's a matter of like, what's the container? Because I want to honor your expression in that way, but I don't want to subscribe to that in terms of, I don't feel connected to putting out that frequency. But you're free to do that. But I want to have a brand, or I don't know what it's called, and it's not anything at all. It's just a concept of culture. I guess that's the best way to say it. The concept of culture that we define, and that we both. It's a blending of me and you. And I do feel like there's a third person that wants to come, someone that's more physical, like in the physical world, because we're pretty. but I want to kind of come to like a synergy, and it's not going to all happen in this call. And we're you know, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I spent the last year in suicidal like ideation. That was my life, like just barely making it, being comfortable, just getting as comfortable as I could while I wait to die.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm coming back into the world. It was very hard to deal with all the bullshit. But I live here, and I'm not I'm not I'm not innocent from all the bullshit, right? And the corruption. I just want to deal with the shadow. I want to deal with it directly and not just build around it. And I think that's what we're doing that's different. Things that I've used before, because I always said that you had the operating system and I was like the driver, right?
Mm. But the mechanic.
Mechanic, yeah. Oh, that's it, yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of intimidated by being friends, to be honest. I don't trust myself. I probably trust you more than I trust myself. Um, I'm yeah, I love doing categories, but I think it's going to take a little bit to. I want to be able to have like a mutual reliance and kind of like being able to share and be vulnerable. Yeah, I want to have a vulnerability um, and a really harsh honesty. And yeah, and spark debate. And
It all comes with time, right?
yeah, that's time and getting more comfortable with the idea. But the fact that we can talk, we're like talking about it is yeah. But I mean, we could just do, yeah, I guess we could just text sometime. I get super obsessed with projects. Like I get overly obsessed with projects and I stop thinking about putting value on like human connection. There's things that I want to do better, and I can't do it by myself. And talking right now, like yeah, that's I think that's one of the things is like being here now. It's like all the shadow and all the confusion. I feel like I'm sitting with a lot of confusion right now. I haven't just talked to somebody, I haven't talked to somebody just openly in a long time.
Mm.
Yeah, it feels kind of. I mean, this is part of the work, but I don't. It's hard to kind of talk about ideas right now when I just kind of I guess I build a trust or build a communication style with you.
I mean, it's, you speak about these channels and, it's whether it's texting, right? Like, let's say we start texting during the day, we text an idea or we're just saying hi or whatever. Because we're not really, we haven't really opened up the communication channels. And we've been we're both a bit recluses, right? We're both used to spending a lot of time alone. And essentially it comes down to, I think, trust, right? trust that what I'm saying is true, that your intention is true. And I think fundamentally that the yearning for a real friendship becomes the overreaching arch, or it becomes, I think, one of the fundamental needs for a human being is friendship, connection. And what happens is, as we grow up, if we never get it, we don't get that often, we get distracted by all our desires and all these pretty things that we may go after. And but deep down, we want the friendship. And I've been lucky. I mean, I've experienced it quite a lot. But I sort of question now whether it was true. Where are these friends? And I found that I would change a lot, or I would grow a lot, or I would, if I go back and see friends, I find they're in the same spot. They found a place they like, where they got married, and they had kids. That's a big one, right? And then their life becomes a certain way. And since I'm always trying to figure this out, I'm always working on this great plan, and sort of being a wizard type. It's, I can be a lot for people. It's a lot to hang out with.
Yeah.
And so friendship is kind of,
How do you mean? It's a lot how?
well, it's I find I'm a catalyst for spiritual growth. All my attention is focused on, just certain things that most people don't focus attention upon. So if we hang out, whether it's through questions or whether, just by the very nature, I'm always working on it. And then I either want to share it, or I want to find out what the other person wants to do. So I'm either very interested in whoever it is, and so I'm sort of delving into the reality of their life, which at some point you find out. And then like for me, you sort of assess where they're at, what they're trying to do. And since I spend a lot of time with younger people, no matter what, when you get older, you just have more life experience, and you sort of have maybe a few more questions answered. It's a different type of relationship. It's like we can be friends, but to be friends with me, it takes a lot. You gotta, you can't fake it. I respond to friendliness. I respond to kindness. I respond to the things that help me as a human, is being with people that, treat me nicely, being with people that want to be around, being around people that are interested in what I'm doing. And so to be friends, I think you fundamentally have to have strong interest in that other person. What are their goals? Like, what are they trying to do? What have they been through? And different people have different capacities for intimacy. Different, if you're operating at a certain level and you never question certain things, and you've never been around someone who's going to question you, and all around, all of a sudden you're around somebody who's, probing you, questioning you, showing you, challenging you. I think it's at some point you touch their sort of limits, and then around the limits are the shadow, and then around that shadow is either the desire to heal it, or the desire to confront it, or the desire to own it, and the desire to do something about it, or there's a rebound effect where the person wants nothing to do with you. So when I experience people, this is very different than, like, so let's say up until I was your age. Up until I was your age, I was just like everybody else, in a sense of not really knowing who I am, and wanting to learn lots of new things, but I'm still part of society in a sense.
Can you just give me a little idea of how do you feel in your age right now? Like, do you feel young? Do you, just so
No,
that I know?
no,
No?
I'm beginning to, like, especially with this illness. And just after 50, things change quite a lot. After 55, things change a lot. I'm about to turn 60, and things have radically changed. Like, you watch a movie and you don't identify with the hero anymore. You identify with the old guy in the back who's sweeping the floor. You're treated differently. And since so much of my work has not been really been embraced or even understood, there's this side of me that's there's a massive amount of frustration that at some point you're trying, and you're okay with your failure, and you're okay with things not going well, but at some point, it's probably in the last few years for me, you become befuddled. And so when you bring up you want to help change how it's seen, for me, I've probably failed enough, and I'm frustrated enough to go, yeah, fuck yeah, I ain't doing it. I mean, I believe I have this hugely valuable thing, but that doesn't mean anything in a society that's fucking insane. If they don't, the big error is thinking, oh, if I only build something good, then I'll get my lifestyle, or I'll get my money, or I'll get my reward. And that's not true. Goodness is not rewarded in society. Goodness is actually attacked.
Your what is attack?
Goodness is attacked.
Mm.
And there's a competition. There's like it's not a whole bunch of people that want you to succeed because you've done something good. There's a whole bunch of people that are just watching to see you fail. And they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't want, they don't want you to succeed.
That's true. That's so true. That is the state of things, right? And I catch myself often, especially the last year. I'm like, I look at everybody like, you know what? If you died, you'd be so much more interesting. Just like anybody. Like, I just feel like, yeah, if you're like the most significant thing you could do is die, and that would be an interesting thing in my life. And that's how, like, I just have no concept of people or relating, and because I'm spent so much time by myself, and I don't really want to connect with the world because it just, most people subscribe to the system that I can't do. You're a slave to something, but you could be a slave to love. You can be a slave to, like, you're a slave to the physical body, but you could be a slave to, yeah, love and unity and togetherness in a beautiful way, instead of just money and capitalism. And and when people are in the slave capitalism thing, it's really difficult to find genuine friendship because they're always thinking in that thing. And I don't think that way. I never thought that way, and I can't. And when I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. My brain doesn't go that way. So human interaction first and foremost, and then I guess, you know what I would just say, whatever we do, I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that we're doing this together. If we both end up failures and nothing comes of it, I'm happy that we're together. Like, let's just make the best of the time, and do some cool things together. And so first and foremost, it's just finding a baseline between us, where we can both arrive and feel like there's still a lot of emotional turmoil present right now. So it's like time to process all the things and have all the discussions. And so that's a pretty cool first start. I wasn't, yeah, unexpected. I thought we were just going to jump into boards and missions and stuff, but yeah,